everyone. This is an overview of the exam questions, Cambridge IGCSE, English as a Second Language, Paper 4, Listening Extended, okay, 0510, 0511. As far as IGCSE English as a Second Language, ESL, is concerned, the extended listening paper consists of 5 parts with 8 questions, while the core paper has 4 parts with 7 questions. The candidates listen to a range of long and short extracts and complete a variety of exercises, including short answers, as you can see here, gap filling, as you can see here, multiple matching questions, okay, and multiple choice and note taking, with a total of course, 40 marks. The duration of the extended paper is approximately 50 minutes. The core paper is of 30 marks with an approximate duration of 40 minutes, okay? And let us see here the parts of the exam and the question types. As you can see here, we have got exercise number 1, questions 1 to 4. We have got short extracts, dialogues, monologues, speeches by one person, recorded messages, and announcement, okay? Length of words, 3 words or less. Marks, 2 marks for each question. Total 8 marks, as you can see here in question number 1. So, exercise number 1, we have got, for example, question 1, which consists of A and B, okay? So, the total marks is like 8, okay? So, this is one. The other thing is exercise number 2. Exercise number 2, we have got gap filling and a formal talk. 1 or 2 words or a number. Maximum 2 words, you cannot write more than that. 1 mark for each blank, total 8 marks. And for people to see it here, this is it, okay? So, as you can see here, the instruction is very important. Write 1 or 2 words or a number, okay? And the total is 8 as well. What else? Then we have got exercise number 3, question 6. 6 short extracts on the same topic, matching by writing the correct letter. Total 6 marks. Then we have got exercise number 4, question 7, discussion between 2 speakers. 3 option, multiple choice, total 8 marks. Let us have a look at question number 4 here, and exercise, here. It's here, I'm sorry. Exercise number 4 and question number Question number 7. We have got here the multiple exercise number 6, we said like matching. Yeah, exercise number 7, we said discussion between 2 speakers and or multiple choice, okay? Then we have got exercise 5 for the extended only. It's not there in the core. Question number 8, we have got 2 parts, part A and part B. Talk on a topic which is formal, and short discussion on the same topic which is informal. We have got gap filling, notes. We need to write not more than 2 words, okay? 5 marks for each part, total 10 marks, as you can see it here. Here the last question, question 8, which consists of part A and part B, as you can see it here, okay? So 1 formal and 1 informal. So we have got a look here now at the components of the listening exam, okay? Now, let us go to some techniques that we will use, my students, you will use in handling and coping with the exam, okay? First of all, let me do it this way, and based on my long experience and the study I've conducted here, it is very clear that examiners use several techniques in preparing their listening questions. خلاص. طيب, to understand these techniques. So understanding these techniques will surely help you to break the questions into meaningful parts. كمان it will help you to predict the answers and attempt the questions better or more successfully. Okay? Let us start with what? With one important technique, which is what? Which is synonyms, which is prevalent. It is commonly tested in the listening exam. And here we have got question 5 of November 2017, paper 4. But first, let us see what a synonym is. Okay, we're going to see the synonyms here and in the question as well. A synonym is a word or a phrase which has the exact meaning or nearly the same meaning as what is another word. For example, you can, for example, shot in the excerpt in the listening transcript, and in the question you'll find it as what? As maybe close. You got it? So almost they are what? They are synonyms, same meaning. So oftentimes English as a second language ESL listening questions tend to be prepared using what? Synonyms. Remember this. Let us see this example here, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I meant by what? By synonyms. Okay? Here, transcript, excerpt. This is what you will listen to. I'm going to tell you about the development of the cinema in the United States in the late 19th and early 20th century. The first films, were something of a novelty to audiences. We had simply never experienced anything like them before. Films in the 1890s had no sound and were barely, remember the word, a minute in length. This was a quite contrast with contemporary shows of theater productions people saw that lasted at least an hour. Okay, it goes this way. Let us see the question here. Okay, so here cinema in the United States, late 19th and early 20th centuries. So here we have got early films. Early films could be substituted. I mean, the synonym of early films could be what, ya Asatza? It could be the first films. Fair enough. We're under. So under here, as you can see, it could be what, ya mister? It could be, so under could be what? Barely. So barely means what? Under. Okay? Then, under what? Of course, we say under a minute. So here you write what? A minute. You got the point. So for sure, you will never listen to the same vocabulary, to the same phrase. There are going to be what? Synonyms there involved. Okay? Type. Let us read the second part here. Here in the second part, people were most excited. For sure, you will never listen to most excited, but you could have some synonyms by films showing what? And then you keep reading here. Most excited, maybe we can start from here. Alternatively, audiences might be fortunate enough to see sporting events, and these were regarded as what? The most thrilling. So most thrilling could be what, ya mister? Could be most excited. Okay, so they could be most excited by films showing what? Of course, you go to that word here, that phrase, sporting events, and you write what? Sporting events. Hopefully you understand what I mean here. Then we have got many films. For sure, you need to what? To predict that as a student, like you will hear or you will listen to what? Some synonyms. You got the point. So let us start it here again, ya shabab. And Banat, films about adventures or journeys came later in the 20th century. Initially, a surprisingly large number of films. So large number of films means what? Means many films. Whereabout the first was released in 1901. Okay, so it was about what? It was about feature. So here featured crime. So as if feature was about, that's what? That's the synonym, okay? Was about what? Crime. So you write what? Crime here. Hopefully you understand my point about what? My point about what? About the use of synonyms throughout this question, which is very clear in every exam, Okay, so we said here, as you can see in this part, we said early films has almost the same meaning as the first films. We have got also under, which means less than in the context, which is synonymous with the word barely, used in the script or the audio, and then other synonym pairs used in the what in the script questions include most thrilling, وقلنا هي most excited, and large number اللي هي ايه Mr. Many. Okay, another technique that we will use in listening, okay, Cambridge paper 4 0510 0511 is what here Mr. Homophones. You need to be aware of the homophones. What is the homophones first? Homophones are words with different meanings, which are pronounced in the same way but are spelled differently. خلاص كده يا شباب. Give us example. I can say, for example, right and right. These are examples of what? These are examples of homophones. Okay? Bold and bold. Okay? Bold without hair and bold like brave and courageous. You understand? So, homophones, I understand. It could be what? Challenging for you. Bearing in mind that you need to understand the context in which the word is used in order to choose the right word. خلينا أقول لكم إن this technique, homophones, is quite prevalent in all IGCSE ESL listening exam. تعالوا نشوفوا الexample ده October, November 2015 paper 4. And let us see the script here, okay? You don't have to be middle-aged to be a business success. The main thing is to have a good idea, and those sometimes seem to come more easily to young people. Let me tell you about one case study. Afwa Mensa was only 11 years old when she went bald. See the rest of the context here. After using a hair conditioning product. So try to relate. Do we need bold this bold, or we need bold this bold? Okay, so what do you think? So let us see the question here. Afwa Mensa, teenage business success. Afwa's business idea began when a beauty treatment resulted in her becoming what? Of course, this is very clear. Becoming, of course, bald means what? Without hair. So in this question, the required answer, we need what? Bold, اللي هي has the same meaning as what? Has the same sound as bold, اللي هي brave or courageous. وعشان كده يا مستر, bold this bold is incorrect here يا أساتذة. Okay, so let us do another technique which I regard very important. اللي هو ايه يا مستر؟ انا هسميه substitution. هسميه ايه يا مستر؟ substitution. It's here. substitution. Substitution. What does it mean, substitution? That has to do with the grammar. It has to do with what يا أساتذة? With the grammar. In English grammar, substitution هو ايه؟ the replacement of a word or a phrase with حاجة بنسميها ايه مستر؟ a filler word, such as what يا مستر الفيلر words؟ one, so, or even do. Okay, why we are using them? Okay, in order not to repeat. You understand? For example, do you have money? Yes, I do. You don't have to say, yes, I have money. You got the point? I can use one as a pronoun in order not to what? In order not to repeat. We're going to see this in a minute, okay? Because I know that people may be a bit vague for some of you. Okay? طيب. Let us take, yeah, Mr., some questions about it and see if we could just understand it here or no. Maybe this question will be clear. And another, this is the audio, yes, this is the audio, and another very important part of this project is to build new stores, remember, which will make it possible for the museum to preserve its collections for future generations. There is no room for expansion in the current stores, which has been an issue because the museum's collections are constantly growing. Okay? Let us read the questions. Here, Museum of Zoology. The redevelopment work. New what? Because the current ones. So ones here, and I call it what, yeah, Mr. Substitution. Substitutions for what, yeah, Mr.? It is a substitutions for what? For a filler word, which is what, yeah, Mr. Stores. You got the point? So, clearly, the filler word one, the filler word once here, refer back to the what, yeah, Mr.? Refer back to the stores, as you can see it here. This means that stores is substituted or replaced by the word once in the question. خلاص احنا we have done that, and I think it's very clear. Another technique that I need to talk about today is called back reference. And I think it's very close to substitution in a way. So we'll call it what? Back reference. What is the back reference? When words and phrases refer back to another word or phrase in the text, it is known as what? As back reference. There is only one difference between the back reference and substitution. Reference is not limited to replacing one word, and it can reach a long way back in the text for its meaning. يعني إيه مستر? Knowledge of back reference can help candidates to answer reading comprehension and gap fill type questions as illustrated by the following example اللي هو October-November 2018 paper 42 question 1 to 4. السؤال بيقول ايه؟ Which book does the woman decide to buy? We have got a female and a male here. Can you see my shopping list anywhere? I'm going into town to get the last few things for my holiday. Male, here it is, under the newspaper. Did you note down those two books you were interested in? What were the titles? Oh yes, Rock Climbing and Coastal Walks. Female, I'm just going to get first of them. First of them, I can't carry both in my what? Rucksack. Remember here, in this example, the meaning of the first of them here can only be understood by checking what phrase refers back to the in the text. You got the point. So here it refers to what, yeah, Mister? It refers to rock climbing. So here I can say in the examiner here has created this item as reference back technique. You got the point? Remember the reference back or the back reference. You understand? Okay. So let us see another example for the back reference, yeah, Mister. That was October-November 2018, paper 42, question 5. Okay. The Wings for Life charity and its World Run event. The 2014 World Run. خلوا بالكم من هنا كان الكويستشن ايه؟ 100% of the money from the race what goes to the charity. From the race what? The transcript extract. The website also, this is the audio, tells you how much entry fees are. And the great thing is that the charity gets 100% of this because the administration costs are covered by another company which sponsors the event. So it is well worth supporting. Okay? Fair enough? طيب. Here the word this. Remember this. Here the word this, which refers back to what? Of course, refers back to entry fees. Is correct answer for this what? For this item. You understand? ساعتها يا مستر and I can go for what? 100% of the money from the race. From the race, you need to write here what? Entry fees. You got it? So the money or the 100 money, of money goes to the what? To the charity. So we know that there is what here? There is what? There is a back reference. You understand? So remember the back reference, remember the substitution as well. Something else in the listening exam, my students have to be careful about, which is what يا مستر؟ حاجة بنسميها يا أساتذة transposition. Remember this one. Transposition. What is transposition? Okay, let us put it in a very simple way. Transposition means changing the sequence of words or word order in a sentence without making it ungrammatical. يعني ايه مستر؟ يعني ايه مستر؟ احنا we need to understand. If we have got, for example, an example like this. Let us go through this example, okay? So, October, November 2018, paper 42, question 5, okay? The Wings for the charity, for the Wings for Life charity and its World Run event. The 2014 World Run. It was held at the same time in 13 what? وبعدين في comma خلوا بالكم من هنا. On 6 continents. يبقى this is 1, 2, and 34 separate locations, 3. And as you can see here, mister, here's something missing, as we said. And here's on 6 continents, which is what, mister? Which is noun. Okay, 34 separate location, which is another noun. So we never, this is very common in ESL listening questions, particularly where the question include several ideas separated by commas. يبقى عندنا listing here. In several cases, the examiner uses the final item as the first detail required for a question and vice versa. يعني ممكن حضراتكم في الأوديو he shouldn't I mean, like what? He shouldn't start with 13. You understand what I mean? Or he might start with in the audio with 34 separate locations. Or he might start with the second part of the listing here. So it doesn't matter. But as long as you are aware of this, Fanta, you need to keep to be aware of what you listen to and what's missing. You got the point? طيب. Let us see this here in the audio or transcript extract. Wings for Life organized their first World Run back in May 2014. That year, races were held in, see the first one? 34 different locations, which is what? Which is the last point here. On 6 continents, this is the one. So this was across a total of 13 time zone. So 13 time zone has to be here. So as you can see here, there is a kind of what? Transposition. Hopefully you understand now what transposition is. Okay? Type. Let us see another technique. Another technique in what? In the listening exam, and for sure you will see it, inshallah, after tomorrow. Okay? Which we call it what? Ellipsis. We call it what, yeah, mister? Let me write it down here. Ellipsis. What is the ellipsis? اللي هي حضراتكم leaving out parts of a sentence or a speech that are very clear or understandable from the contextual clues. خلاص كده؟ طيب. Why we are doing ellipses? In order not to repeat words. You understand? And let us see some examples here of what? Of the ellipses, leaving out sometimes subject, leaving out sometimes, you understand what I mean, helping verb. It might be so, right? فتعالوا نشوفوا ellipses and see it here maybe in some whatever sentences here, and let me write it down here so people understand what ellipses are. Let us write here, for example, I can say one here, and I can go for have you, and here I put the ellipses between 2 brackets here. Have you given your monthly charity yet? As you can see here, have you could be what? Could be ellipted. I don't need it. I could leave it out. Another example of ellipses, I can say, for example, are you ready? Simply in the audio, in the script, in the transcript extract, I can say what? You ready? So the answer could be what? Yes. The answer could be what, yeah, mister? Yes. And maybe somebody can write this one. I am ready. So I don't need Mr. to write I am ready, because it's going to be what? It's going to be repetition, which is needless repetition here. So ساعتها يا Mr. and I resort to what? I resort to what? To ellipses. Hopefully you need to understand, you understand now what ellipses, okay? With some of the fanboys, I can use also ellipses and or but or. I can say, for example, she went for a walk by the Corniche, and she took some beautiful snaps. You understand what I mean? So see here could be what, yeah, Mr. Could be ellipted. So you don't need to what? To repeat the whole what? The whole thing. The sentence can go without. And this is what, yeah, Mr. This is ellipses. Let us see here, yeah, Mr. Some examples of ellipses here in one of the exams, past papers, and let us see it here. How long? October, November 2018, paper 42, questions 1 to 4. How long did it take the man to finish the race? Remember this. Male, actually, I feel okay at the moment. I'm really pleased with my time. I was aiming to finish in 15 minutes. And in fact, I managed in 43 minutes. You don't have to what? To repeat to finish. So that's my personal what best. So the answer should be what, yeah, Mr. The answer should be what? In 43 minutes, okay? And you don't have to say what to finish here. This is an example of what? This is an example of ellipses. Ellipses is okay with most of you, but sometimes ellipses is dangerous. It is quite mighty. You understand why, Mister? When it could be what, yeah, Mister? When it could be dangerous. Let us see this example, and I want you to watch out this. When you are asked about, and that was May-June 2016, paper 4, questions 1 to 6. That was 1 to 6 in 2006, okay? How much did Nuria pay for the CD? Here, hi Yasmin, come and listen to my new CD. I'd love to, Nuria. How much did you pay for it? It was a bargain. They wanted $7, but they let me have it for only $5. So here, this is what? This is ellipted, okay? But be careful. I know it is ellipted, okay? I know it is ellipted, but when you write the answer, here, and you write it as such, like Mr. 5, for example. If you wrote it 5 this way, it's going to be what? It's going to be considered wrong. Why? So when it comes to what? To measurements, to currencies, okay? You need to be careful. So the word dollars here is ellipted in the last sentence, okay? As you can see it here. So they let me have it for only 5 and ellipses. A candidate who does not write dollars, يعني if you don't write dollars, خلاص كده, or put the dollar symbol, خلاص كده, you can put the dollar symbol, any symbol for the dollar, for the euros, you will fail to score a mark in these questions. So be careful with the measurements, kilometer, meter, dollars, euros, whether in words or what, full words or symbols. You will lose a mark, okay? So let us now, after we finish some good techniques about listening, let us go to some good hacks, okay? I will explain several pre-listening and while listening strategies okay, or techniques that I have tried and tested before with my students. And I found them to be effective in teaching ESL listening. That's why I like to call them what? I like to call them listening hacks. Because as a matter of fact, they help a lot. They will help you guess the answers or guess the types of questions required, even without actually listening to the audio material. Mister, is it magic? It's not magic. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, let us just remind you with this. Basically, the ESL exam consists of 4 types of listening questions. زي ما قلنا short comprehensions, gap text or fill in the gaps, multiple matching and multiple choice. Okay, these are what the components of our exam. If we go to questions, for example, 1 to 4. Questions 1 to 4 اللي هو the first what يا مستر, the first exercise here, questions 1 to 4. Let us do it this way. I'm just gonna make myself clear here. 1 to 4, yeah, it's here. In this part of the test, candidates, as you know, hear 4 short recordings, okay? Each recording, of course, twice, and are required to answer 2 items, A and B, here A and here what, and here B. In each question, of course. Common recordings include what? As we said before, monologues, dialogues, announcements, or even recorded phone messages. Students must adhere, must stick to the rubric or instructions given in order to score the marks. First of all, it is obligatory, it is mandatory that students write no more than 3 words or a number. Remember this type. What else? This clearly means that responses that are over 3 words will not be credited even if the required correct detail is included. Even if you answered it correctly, it will be what? It will not be scored. In most cases, which is a general thing to do, a brief direct response is all that's needed to get the score. Okay? So, please don't complicate things. Let us now go to hack number 1. Okay, we need here to analyze the question. How can we analyze the questions, ya shabab? Students should highlight the question words, such as what? Which, what, in which, who, when. You got the point? You need to highlight what? The question words, such as, like what, when, where, why, etc. And underline, which is very important. You need to underline the keywords in the questions. Subject. Does the girl think she would study at university? Okay, so this is underlining the keywords in the question. It is useful for students to learn what is required by each question by each question word. Okay, this is very important. Okay, عشان كده يا مستر, here and I put this. Here are the most common question tags and their typical answers. Here the question word, as you can see here, and here the answer types. When I say who, I'm asking about a person. Where, I'm asking about position, place, location. When, I know it might sound silly, but believe me, for some people, it's not silly at all. When, I go for time, date, occasion, moment. Why, I go for reason, explanation. What, specific thing, object, action. Which, choice or alternative. Type, what else? How, way, manner, form. How often, frequency, number of times. What for, specific what, specific purpose. Okay? Now, let us look at the following example from November 2018, paper 42, question 1 to 4. والسؤال كان عندنا ايه مستر? Which tour did the woman go on? Which tour did the woman go on? Okay? In this example, the question word which and the underlined words tell us that the required detail for this item is a type of what? Is a type of tour that the lady went on. The question word which and the word tour in its singular form. خلوا بالكم دي singular form. This is how I analyze. And this is hack number 1. They indicate that the woman had more than one choice. Do you agree with me? يعني لما أقول which tour did the woman go on? It means that the woman had more than one choice. And she must have selected only one option. It could be what, yeah, mister? ممكن if you just went back to November 2018 paper 42, كانت يا mister the history the history one or the history tour, okay? Candidates can choose to write what? The history tour. Or you can say the history one using what, yeah, mister, if you still remember the back reference. Type. What else? What else, mister? So, as we said here in that hack, analyzing the questions, underlining the keywords and the question word, if you still remember. Let us now go to hack number 2. Let us go to hack number 2 here. Well, hack number 2 here, which is what a pre-listening activity that I often do with my students, which has to do with the logical guesses for each item of what questions 1 to 4, the exercise 1. By using what? By using a pencil. I can ask my students, would you please use a pencil and try while you are listening first time, okay? Or even while giving you the time, we call it what, perusal time, اللي هو الpause time. Can you predict? Can you expect what is the answer of the question? You can write it down in pencil. You understand what I mean? So that would be very helpful, okay? So let me see. I mean, if it is useful, it's going to be useful in the exam, but this maybe could be useful during teaching. I mean, for teachers who are listening to me right now, you can use it while what you are teaching, listening to your students. So that would be really good. And then you can check whether there is a relevance about the students' predictions and the relevance and the correct answer and the real answers. Okay. So anyway, this is a good hack for you. I mean, if you could do it while you're being given like a pause time to read the question, that would be great. Okay, type. Let us go for what, yeah, mister, for hack number 3. Hack number 3, which is what? Which is the best option. The best option. I'm not going to talk that much here, but I'm going to take you now to what? To this example, which illustrates hack number 3. What I mean by what? By this technique or this hack. Okay. Type. Here, who did he run with during the final section? And we have got like what, 3 answer choices here. I ran alongside my best friend. Best friend, 50 minutes. Okay. Let us see what is expected. What is expected here? I mean, like what? If you want to analyze something like that, what you're going to do? You're going to go for question number 1, for example, here. And they say what? Teacher. I mean, option number 1 is incorrect, that's for sure. Because it has what, yeah, mister? It has more than 3 words. So this is wrong. It means what? You did not adhere or stick to the what? To the instruction being given in the what? In the question. Okay? Although there are some relevant details. Yani here there is best friend, which is relevant, okay? Mentioned here. It is also, I mean, better. I will never say it's wrong. It's also better to change I, the pronoun I or my, to the what? To the third person, he or she, because the question here is very clear. Okay. Option number 2, of course, it is correct, and it is to the point, and it is 2 words. But option number 3, why it is incorrect? Because it is quite irrelevant. Look at the question here. It is quite what? Irrelevant. To the question word اللي هي بتقول ايه who, so it has nothing to do with what, with who, so it's completely what, it's completely wrong. Okay, so this is a good hack as well to analyze the questions and to know exactly what the question is asking for. Okay, type. There is something else. I don't know whether it's going to be good for you or not, but remember, there are some people when they listen to, for example, longer talks, okay, longer, let us say, lectures, they get like confused. They get confused. So in this case, we need to activate something which we call it what, yeah, mister? Schemata. Let us say activating schemata. And I'm going to tell you what schemata here. Okay? Schemata, simply, it's the background, or your background, or your world knowledge about what? About a topic. sometimes يا شباب, believe it or not, sometimes we use the schemata, our knowledge about about something, about an issue or a background about an issue, to answer questions, even if we lost track of the audio. Okay, طيب. In other words, I can say it is what we already know about the topic in hand. Okay, so in listening, if you could activate this schemata, okay, you will do a lot of like brainstorming. Okay, undoubtedly this strategy will help you to call out some relevant vocabulary and topic related ideas you just heard, you just listened to, but you don't exactly know what's going on, but in general, okay, you are aware of some issues about, or a background about this topic. Okay, so to activate your schemata, it means what? It would help you to predict answers, even if you lost track of the real answer. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, so maybe, of course, we're not going to do this, but in general, for example, if you are talking about, for example, sculpting, if you are talking about sculptures, and it is about sculptures, famous sculptors who paint, who let us say, engraved a statue or whatsoever. So what you will have in mind, in back of your mind, like as schemata, is material used. So the material used, you tell yourself, if there is a question about materials, it could be wood, glass, clay, steel. What have you heard? What are the vocabulary that you have heard in that context? You understand what I mean? If it is about, exhibition or exhibiting what, or displaying these kind of displays or sculptures, okay, you might use your background knowledge, and you say what, it could be displayed in museums, in fairs, in showrooms. So what are the related words, okay, or maybe the tools or whatsoever. So you say what, based on my background, I can go for what, sculpting, I can go for carving, I can go for chisel, which is a tool, or woodwork, which is like carpentry or something. You understand what I mean? So based on the vocabulary that you know, based on the background that you know, which is what, in a way, you are activating your what? You are activating your schemata. You got the point? So sometimes it's helpful, and instead of like leaving the blanks, like without an answer, you need to what? To write something, because it might be very close. It might be very close. Okay. The most important hack, I'll consider it the most important hack here, which has to do with what? Remember this, ya shabab. Decoding grammatical pattern or patterns. What does that mean, mister? Be careful. You will use this. You will use this, and it will make things easier. It will make listening a walk in the park, believe me. I believe in that by being able to decode grammatical patterns, this is the most useful hack for you while you are doing what? While you are doing the listening. Okay? What is decoding grammatical patterns, let us say here? It is being able, as a student, to identify the tenses used or the use of certain language structures, such as what articles like a, am, the, when formulating a question, and predicting, let us say, the components of a grammatical pattern. تعالوا بقى, maybe it's difficult. Let us go through this question, okay? That was November 2015, paper 42, question 5, okay? Aldo DeLuca. When she entered the showroom, the speaker saw DeLuca carving a what? Carving a what? Blank. Mister, the structure of the question in example 1 here, هو Mr. A plus what? Blank, as you can see here, right? طيب, what does that mean? If a question has this structure, there are 3 details we can guess about the answer. اللي هي ايه, Mr.? What can you guess about the answer? The answer here is singular. احنا we need a singular what word. Okay. خلاص كده. Why? Because the article a here means what? Means one. So it has to be singular. What else? The answer also will start with what? With a consonant sound. So I cannot use a noun that starts with what? A vowel, like you, whatever, you understand what I mean? So you cannot use what? A vowel sound. It is what? A consonant sound. The answer also has to be what? Has to be a noun. Has to be a noun. Or it could be an adjective plus what? Plus a noun. You agree with me? These are the possibilities. And if you're doing it this way, so you are successfully decoding the grammatical patterns of what? Of the question. Okay? طيب. If, for example, let us say it this way. For example, if the indefinite article is an here, لو هي an, يبقى ايه هي بقى الديكودنج يا مستر؟ ده معناها يا مستر ان the answer will start with a vowel sound. When the knowledge goes a long way in helping to decide whether the answer needs to be written in a singular or what, or a plural form. So it depends here, like an, it has to be what? Again, singular. You got the point? But if it is a definite article like the, for example, so it could bear two possibilities. It could be what? Singular or what? Or plural. You got the point? Type. Let us see example number what? Example number 2. وexample number 2 here يا مستر Aldo De Luca نفس الإكزام يا مستر is De Luca's favorite wood. De Luca's favorite wood. In this example, example number 2, the answer is definitely what? Here there should be what? A noun. But what else يا مستر? And if you know the basic grammar, you will be able to tell that this sentence is written using the simple present tense اللي هي is. وis يا مستر here is what? Is singular. You got the point. It is what? Singular. Okay, so the verb is tells us that the required answer is singular, so we need what? A singular noun. You got it? This is how you decode what? The grammatical pattern. Example number 3, almost the same thing. Example number 3, في إيه يا مستر? After turtles have laid their eggs, and then there is a comma. And here, something protect the nests. And as you can see here, protect. Protect here يا مستر simple present form. With simple present form protect, it's not protects. فدي معناها يا مستر it's a plural verb. It's a plural. So we need here something plural. You got the point, right? So, you understand this? يبقى here is the blank is like the subject of a sentence. So here we need what? A subject of a sentence. And this subject has to be what? Has to be plural. Why, teacher? Because protect is a plural form, present simple. Okay? So, you cannot, for example, use, I'm saying, for example, you cannot use, for example, let us say here, this is wrong, of course. You cannot use, for example, volunteer. A volunteer, for example, even a volunteer. Because a volunteer, you have to say what? Protects. You cannot use a fence, because a fence has to be what? Protects. You understand the point? You got the point. So here, the verb, if the verb had been protects, يبقى تنفع volunteer or fence. But if it is protect, حضراتكم, the answer يا شباب, the sentence has to be what? I mean, like what? A plural subject here. That plural subject could be anything, mister. It could be, for example, let us say anything. You can say bears, for example. So bears is what is correct. So bears protect. See يا شباب, see يا بنات. This is how you understand decoding the grammatical what? The grammatical patterns. خلينا ناخد آخر سؤال يا مستر. آخر example number 4 about what decoding grammatical patterns. The critter cam video cameras, okay? Which creatures it has been used on? Sea creatures such as what? Hawaiian monk seals. land-based creatures such as what يا مستر such as يا مستر anything. يبقى this example follows a clear predictable pattern of language use. انا عندي هنا يا مستر plural noun اللي هي يا مستر creatures, okay, such as Hawaiian monk seals, and then creatures here برضو plural noun يا اساتذه. So it is straightforward to figure out that the answer is definitely what? A plural noun. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be any kind of animals. We said turtles. It could be turtles. It could be bears. Huh? Anything. You understand? So hopefully you understand this يا أساتذة. Fair enough. طيب آخر example هناخده هنا يا شباب, because I put it here, example number 5. Planning the day includes what? Times. You remember this? Career profile. Then comma, يبقى واضح ان في listing here, and journeys for the day ahead. So here, this example, as you can see, adapted from May-June 2006, paper 4, okay, shows how a simple punctuation mark can help to guess the type of answer required, okay? So the comma here, as you can see it here, the comma is telling all that. But how? We know that a comma is used to separate a list اللي هو يا مستر similar items. As a result, a closer analysis of the question reveals the following patterns. ايه هو following patterns يا مستر? Here, as you can see, plural noun اللي هي times. Then we have got plus, we have here blank, as you can see it here. And then plus plural nouns. So you tell yourself here, Mister, what do you need here? So plural, so we have got times and what? Blank and journeys. So plural followed by a comma, and a blank indicates that the blank is most likely to be what? لازم يبقى هنا يا مستر كمان plural. You got it? We've just said this one. So ساعتها يا شباب, we can go for any what nouns in the plural form. So remember here يا أساتذة, remember here, which is very important, in the commas, a comma is a mighty punctuation. The comma is a mighty punctuation. It can save or kill a person. That's hyperbole. That's exaggeration. Okay. For example, I can say, for example, this one. What about this one? Let's eat, grandma. And here, let's eat, grandma. Do you understand now why the comma is a mighty punctuation mark? Okay. Do you understand now why Mr. Ahmed said now it can save or kill a person? Okay. So please, next time you see the comma in an ESL listening question, pay extra attention. Okay. Now let's go to another type of questions. I think the matching questions. The matching questions, which is this one, exercise 3, question number what? Question number 6. And I'm going to tell you something really good about it. If you feel you could do it, that would be great. That would be great. As you can see here in this question, yes, in this question, candidates listen to 6 short informal monologues based on the same topic. It is the same topic, and match each speaker to appropriate content. To do this question, ya shabab, the background information, the background knowledge, for activating schemata, فاكرين schemata اللي هي background knowledge, based on the topic and underlining the keywords. Underlining the keywords. You got the point? Underlining the keywords. Okay? Both are very helpful and applicable technique to this question. Okay? Here, in order to do this question in a proper way, I have a very important, crucial hack that works best, particularly for this exercise. Okay, and even with the similar exercises with multiple questions or multiple options. Okay, اللي هي إيه حضراتكم؟ اللي هي paraphrasing. Yeah, paraphrasing. This is very important. Okay, what do you mean by paraphrasing, Mister? خليني اقول لكم يا شباب ان the seven statement as you can see them here, okay? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, okay? مالهم يا مستر؟ are written using synonyms. And synonymous what phrases? For sure you will never see the same wording in the what? In the audio. That's for sure. Remember this. وعشان كده therefore I often ask my students to rewrite the statement using their own words if you have time, if you could do it. Like what? During the pause time, you can go this way. You can go this way. Mr. How can I do it? Yeah, mister, let us do it here. If I wrote it here or no? Yes, I think I wrote it here. Yeah, it's here. For example, tickets for live events are far too expensive for me. I can go for paraphrasing and I can do it my own way. And I can say what? I cannot afford to attend the sporting events. That could be what? That could be listened to. You really feel part of a group when you go to watch a match. So support favorite team together. You might listen to this or not alone. Traveling to a live event and queuing to get in takes too long. I can rewrite it or rephrase it or paraphrase it this way. It takes hours to get to the venue, to the place, and then there is a long queue. You might listen to this. Sometimes you don't get a very good view at the live event. If you get a seat at the back, you cannot actually see what's happening, okay? See the paraphrasing? My friends support different teams, so we don't go to matches together. So my colleagues don't support my team. You might what? You might listen to this. Or this is your own way of paraphrasing it. Or go alone, let us say. The atmosphere at a live event can be appreciated at home. Can be what? Appreciated at home. So sitting in the middle of a cheering crowd is more exciting than simply watching it on TV. You understand what I mean? So this is your way of paraphrasing it. You might listen to something like that. So, and it goes this way, ya shabab. So what is the benefit, teacher? What is the rationale behind what you are saying right now? Teacher, why you are doing this? Because as I told you, any matching questions depends more on synonyms. Depends more on synonyms. عشان ما حدش يتخيل. Please, you will never listen to the same what? To the same I mean like what? Sentences or words that you have in question. Hopefully you understand, ya shabab, you understand my point. What else, teacher, you want to tell us about listening? There's something else which is what, ya mister? You might find it, I mean like what, silly for some of you. I understand, but I'm here, I'm directing this, I'm addressing everybody here. تعالوا يا شباب نتعلم together. How to learn some phonetic attempts. افتكروا الكلام ده كله كويس قوي. Phonetic attempts. For any reason, some people lose scores because of that. Mister, what you are trying to say? أنا بقول إن some students find it difficult to distinguish between what? Voiced and unvoiced consonants. What do you mean, teacher? What is the voiced and unvoiced consonants? Voiced consonants هي consonant sounds produced by vibrating the vocal cords. لما تلاقي الفوكال cords بتاعك vibrating يبقى ده ساعتها حضراتكم اسمه voiced. While the unvoiced consonants are produced without any vibrations in the vocal cords, of course. Okay. Example, B here, as you can see here. B is voiced, a voiced consonant. And P here is an unvoiced consonant sound. Okay. So عندي كمان يا مستر ايه تاني؟ الword pairs such as what? Pet and bet are known as minimal pairs. Known as what? Minimal pairs. يعني ايه minimal pairs يا مستر؟ لأنهم they have only one sound that's different. فيعني الفروق طفيفة جدا, very slight. Okay. طيب تعالوا نشوف ال following words وال following examples of what of minimal pairs. دي كلهم اسمهم minimal pairs. ها B P bin pin bag pig beep peep bay pay وهكذا يا مستر. Only one sound is what is different. فدي هو مستر minimal pairs. لو سمحتوا read them for the sake of it. Read them for the sake of it. What else, teacher, you want to tell us about today? Okay, because I was planning to have only 1 hour, but it will take more than that. Okay. خلوا بالكم يا مستر عشان تبقوا فاهمين الحدوتة كويس قوي. When teaching phonetic attempts, and I always teach my students 3 criteria or conditions for phonetic attempt or an invented spelling to be awarded a mark. What can be considered as correct and what can be considered as incorrect when it comes to what to spelling. Okay. خدوا عندكم بقى يا شباب what's correct and what's incorrect. Let us say in the phonetic attempt must contain all the sounds or phonemes of the actual word. يعني ايه حضراتكم؟ انا نسهلها عليكم شويه قوي. اني if the word is not confused with another word, it is correct, even with some spelling mistakes. What can be considered wrong? طبعا homophones, if you still remember the homophones, احنا قلنا homophones, they are wrong. For example, they are asking about the word bold because the context supports bold. And you wrote it as bold. As long as they are homophones, it is what it is wrong. You understand? طيب, what else? If for example, and I say what? Let us say this one here. If for example, you're asked about a word like anything, like pen, and he meant the singular, and you wrote it in the what? In the gap like pens, it's wrong. May I say that again? Sure? Of course, I'm sure about it. طيب, Mister, what we are supposed to do then? Be careful of this. Here is a sample exercise. The first word has been done for you here. Here the actual word. He's asking about what? Trainer, for example. The phonetic attempt, يعني انت you attempted writing it this way. Trainer, trainer, trainer. You understand what I mean? That's acceptable. Believe it or not. Even with some spelling mistakes. Why, Mister? Because it contains all the sounds. No homophones. مفيش homophones. Bold, it's not there. What else? حضرتك you're being asked about what? Trainer. And you wrote it as what? Trina. This is Trina. Hi. Trina. This is Trina. So this is not acceptable. Why, teacher? One sound different. A sound change it into I. That's incorrect. طب trainer. You wrote it as trainers with S. برضو not acceptable. Wrong form. Singular what? Plural. You got the point. Insurance. You wrote it as incurrence. This is كمان not acceptable. Because like what? Completely different sound. But volunteer. You wrote it at this. It's correct. Volunteer. This is wrong. Valentia. This is what? Wrong. You got the point? Please don't worry about spelling mistakes as long as it is not confused with other sounds or with other what? Verbs, with other words as homophones. Yeah, أساتذة. Hopefully you understand, okay? Then, what else, teacher, you want to tell us about? The last thing I want to tell you about is this, يا أساتذة. اللي هو إيه, Mister? Let me tell you this and just create a new page here. Okay. The do's and don'ts. What you are supposed to do and what you are supposed to let us say avoid. Okay. طيب. The do's, let us say here the do's, and I just want to just not write it down, but just go through the exam that we have here. The exam that we have here, which is what? Which is, yeah, this one. If you had to change, that's do's, if you have to change an answer in exercise 3. Let us go to exercise number 3, please, very quickly. So we do it here, exercise number 3. Exercise number 3, it's here, the matching. If you want here, for example, to change an answer in exercise 3, speakers 1 to 6, and you wrote here A, don't write this way. B, for example, don't do it this way, but create a new box. Draw another box and write your answer, the new answer, of course, clearly inside the box. So you say what here, B. Okay, so this is number 1. If you had to change an answer in exercise number 4, look at this one, at exercise number 4, yeah, mister. If you want to change an answer in exercise number 4, clearly indicate the wrong answer by drawing 3 boxes, okay? So drawing 3 boxes and putting a clear tick, it's a tick, I'm sorry, and writing a clear tick inside one box only, so you write it here. So instead of here, which is wrong, no, this is wrong. You might say this, you might do it this way, but better you like what? Draw 3 boxes and what? And tick the correct what? And tick the correct one, okay? طيب, what else? In exercise 2 and 5, let us see exercise 2 and 5. ادي يا مستر exercise 2 and 5 اللي هو gapped questions, fill in the gaps. And question number 5, of course, you know, question number 5, it's almost the same thing. It's what? It's fill in the gaps. Double check your answers for grammatical accuracy, as we said, اللي هو decoding grammatical patterns, as we talked about it now. Try to guess answers by using contextual cues or topic of the listening questions اللي اتكلمنا عنها. قلنا schemata اللي هي the background, what knowledge or information. The other thing is what, mister? Make sure you include the correct units, especially in exercise 1. What is the correct unit in exercise number 1 يا أساتذة؟ لما قلنا يا شباب, if you are writing, for example, 5 and it has to be $5, so make sure that you write, yeah, mister, the units, you understand? So kilometers, so you write km, or meter, you write m, or euro, or dollars, or euros, you write what? The word or the symbol, okay? This is for what? For the do's. This is for what you have to do. So what should you avoid? The don'ts or the taboos or the avoidances. Don't leave any blank. Any blanks. Don't leave any blanks. Even if you're not sure. Take a guess and write the answer that contextually suit the question. Okay? Use your schemata, your background knowledge, the vocabulary that you listen to. Okay? And don't leave, and see if it makes sense or no. Okay? This is one. So don't leave any blanks. Don't write more than 3 words or a number in exercise number 1. Exercise number 1. And I say what? Write no more than 3 words. So don't write more than 3 words or a number. Exercise number 1, question 1 to 4, as you can see here. The other thing is what? Don't write more than 2 words or a number in any one blank in exercise number 2. Exercise number 2, as you can see here, remember, 1 or 2 words. فحضرتك you are not supposed to write more than that. يبقى exercise 2 وكمان معاهم exercise number 5. Don't write the letters outside the boxes in exercise number 3. For any reason, ما تنفعش هنا تقول لي ايه مثلا I'm gonna write it here. This is completely will be regarded as what? As wrong. Okay? So speakers 1 to 6. Don't tick more than 1 box for any question in exercise number 4. Of course, you know this. Exercise number 4, you cannot by any means do it this way. It is completely wrong. It will be regarded as what? As wrong. Multiple choice. The last thing is what? Don't write more than 2 words in any one blank in exercise number 5. Look at this one. Don't write more than 2 words in exercise number 5. احنا عرفناها بقى خلاص بقى مستر. And I say 1 or 2 words only. احنا we said that before. Whether it's questions part A or what? Or part B. Okay? The last thing that I have to tell you about, and I think I'm going to send this file separately to you اللي هي حضراتكم this one. I called it what extremely important lectures for IGCSE listening exam. Try to mug up all these words before the exams. Of course, you have to what? You have to do them. This list contains over 600 carefully chosen words from IGCSE listening past papers. Although it's not a good idea to learn vocabulary in isolation, and now you're gonna go for what? You're gonna go for listening now. If you learn these spellings, it will help you score better marks at listening. Believe me. And I compiled these words from past papers starting from 2006 till date. So make sure you check the pronunciation of these words. This is something very important, okay? It's not only to know the spelling, but the pronunciation of these words. Okay? Of course, with the help of a dictionary or online. Ask Uncle Google. Asking Google will save a lot of time, okay? Best of luck, Mr. Ahmed Khalifa. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.